the practice of agriculture played a paramount role in sustaining Bronze Age civilizations, serving as the foundational pillar upon which these societies flourished. By providing essential sustenance, enabling population growth, fostering economic stability, and facilitating cultural and technological advancements. The diet of people during the Bronze Age varied considerably, depending on their geographic location, culture, available resources, and technological advancements. People in the ancient region of Sumer during the Bronze Age was influenced by the agricultural practices and available resources of the Mesopotamian plains. Sumer, which is part of modern-day southern Iraq, was one of the world's earliest urban civilizations, and its diet reflected the agricultural and culinary innovations of its time. Here's an overview of the diet of people in Sumer during the Bronze Age. Use of grains and cereals. Barley was the primary cereal crop and a dietary staple in Sumer. It was used to make bread, porridge, and beer. Sumerians were skilled brewers, and beer was a fundamental part of their diet, often consumed daily by people of all social classes. Emmer wheat was another important grain cultivated in Sumer, used for making various forms of bread and porridge. Legumes like lentils and chickpeas were cultivated, and provided additional sources of protein and nutrients to complement the grain-based diet. Sumerians grew various vegetables, including onions, leeks, garlic, cucumber, melons, carrots, squash, and lettuce, which were used for cooking and flavoring dishes. Milk and dairy products were part of the diet, primarily sourced from domesticated animals like cattle, sheep, and goats. Yogurt and cheese were likely consumed, although the preservation methods of the time may have differed from modern practices. Meat from domesticated animals, such as cattle, sheep, and goats, was consumed, but it was likely not as abundant in the diet as grains and vegetables. Meat was often reserved for special occasions or festivals. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers in the region provided a source of fish, which supplemented the diet, especially for people living near waterways. Dates were a common and significant part of the diet, providing sweetness and a valuable energy source. Other fruits like figs and apples may have been consumed when available. Honey was used as a sweetener and preservative in food preparation, and it was likely appreciated for its culinary and medicinal properties. Sumerians used herbs and spices like coriander, cumin, and mint to flavor their dishes. Food preservation techniques, such as drying and salting, were likely used to store food for times of scarcity. The diet of people in Sumer during the Bronze Age was shaped by the agricultural innovations of the time, including the cultivation of cereal grains and the development of brewing techniques for beer. This diet provided the necessary sustenance for a growing population in an urbanized society and contributed to the cultural and economic achievements of Sumerian civilization. Agriculture was the lifeblood of Sumer during the Bronze Age. The people of Sumer developed sophisticated farming techniques and systems to harness the fertile soil between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. These agricultural practices were instrumental in shaping the diet, lifestyle, and prosperity of the Sumerian civilization. Perhaps the most remarkable agricultural feat of the Sumerians was their mastery of irrigation. Recognizing the erratic nature of the rivers, they designed an intricate network of canals, dikes, and reservoirs to regulate water flow. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers were vital sources of water for Sumerian agriculture. However, their erratic flooding patterns posed a significant challenge. Irrigation allowed the Sumerians to control the flow of water ensuring a consistent supply for their crops throughout the year. Irrigation systems enabled Sumerian farmers to cultivate more land by diverting water to areas that were not naturally watered by the rivers. They expanded their arable land and increased agricultural production. Sumerians constructed an extensive network of canals to divert water from the rivers to their fields. These canals ranged from small ditches to large and complex waterways. Canals played a critical role in distributing water to different regions and communities. To control flooding and prevent water from inundating their fields, the Sumerians built dikes and levees along the banks of the rivers and canals. These earthen structures served as barriers to regulate water levels. Some Sumerian cities and communities built reservoirs, or small dams to store excess water during times of abundance. These reservoirs could then release water during dry periods, ensuring a consistent water supply for crops. The agricultural surplus facilitated the rise of Sumerian cities. As people flocked to urban centers, the demand for food production increased, further emphasizing the importance of irrigation. The need for efficient water management spurred advancements in mathematics and engineering. The Sumerians developed mathematical techniques to calculate land area and irrigation flow rates, laying the foundation for future scientific achievements. The surplus of agricultural products made Sumer an economic hub. They traded their surplus crops and irrigation technology with neighboring regions, further enhancing their wealth and influence. The Sumerians understood the importance of soil fertility. To prevent soil depletion, they practiced crop rotation, alternating between cereals like barley and emmer wheat, and legumes such as lentils and chickpeas. This not only preserved soil health but also diversified their diet. Their agricultural success was driven by the development and use of various technologies and tools that enhanced crop cultivation and allowed them to harness the fertile Mesopotamian plains. The ard plow was a fundamental agricultural tool in Sumer. It was a simple, wooden plow with a pointed end that could be pulled by draft animals like oxen. The ard plow was used to break the soil and prepare it for planting. The shadf was an irrigation tool, used to lift water from canals or rivers and transfer it to higher fields. It consisted of a long wooden pole with a bucket attached to one end and a counterweight on the other. This lever system allowed farmers to efficiently water their fields. Sumerian farmers used sickles for harvesting crops. Like barley and wheat, these sickles had a curved blade, making it easier to cut the grains. After harvesting, grains needed to be separated from chaff and debris. The winnowing fan was a simple tool that allowed farmers to toss harvested grains into the air. The wind would carry away the lighter chaff, leaving the heavier grains behind. The Sumerians developed various storage facilities to protect their harvested grains from pests and environmental factors. These included granaries made of mud bricks and sealed containers to keep grains dry and secure. Sumerian farmers practiced selective breeding by carefully choosing the best seeds from their harvest to use for the next planting season. This early form of agricultural genetics contributed to improved crop varieties over time. Pottery and clay tablets were used for storing and recording agricultural information. Sumerians used clay tablets for record keeping, including land ownership, crop yields, and administrative records related to agriculture. Animal husbandry was a vital component of the Sumerian agricultural system during the Bronze Age. The Sumerians relied on various domesticated animals for their daily needs, and effective animal husbandry practices were essential for sustaining their civilization. Cattle were one of the most important domesticated animals. They served multiple purposes, including plowing fields, providing milk, and eventually being used for meat. Oxen was specifically trained for plowing, were integral to Sumerian agriculture. Sheep were raised for their wool, milk, and meat. Wool from Sumerian sheep contributed to the textile industry, and sheep's milk and meat were dietary staples. Goats were another common livestock species. They were valued for their milk and meat. Goats were well suited to the arid conditions of the region and could graze on a variety of vegetation. Pigs were raised for their meat. They were a valuable source of protein and fat in the Sumerian diet. Pigs were known for their adaptability to different diets and environments. Sumerian farmers practiced controlled breeding. To maintain healthy livestock populations, they selected breeding pairs based on desirable traits, such as milk production, wool quality, or size. Sumerian livestock were typically allowed to graze on natural vegetation, including fields after harvest. In times of scarcity, supplementary feeding was provided with stored grains and forage. Animals were often housed in simple shelters, or enclosures made from reeds or mud bricks to protect them from extreme temperatures and predators. Sumerians recognized the importance of animal health. Veterinary knowledge existed to some extent, allowing them to treat common livestock ailments. Sumerians also made use of animal dung. They collected and dried it to use as fuel for heating and cooking. Some livestock, especially cattle, held religious and cultural significance. They were often associated with deities and played a role in religious rituals and ceremonies. The Sumerian approach to animal husbandry and agriculture laid the foundation for future civilizations in the region. Their practices and innovations in agriculture, including the use of draft animals, contributed to the success and sustainability of early urban centers. The Sumerians' ability to manage and utilize domesticated animals effectively was a testament to their agricultural knowledge and ingenuity. The agricultural legacy of Sumer during the Bronze Age continues to influence our understanding of early human civilizations and their remarkable achievements. Thanks for your attention. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and like the video.